Hi, everybody. Pretty sure by the name that's listed on my channel, anybody who could be looking at this knows my name. Aside from the fact that I'm a creature of many names, it has been suggested to me that sooner or later I start a blog or a vlog of some nature in which I talk about world building because I have often referred to myself as the world building champion. So, if anybody has questions or would like me to discuss something in particular, I am more than happy to hear it. Go ahead and put it in the comments below, and I will see about addressing that. So, let's see. I think the first thing that I tend to tell people when it comes to world building is to think about what your physical structures are and then what your political relationships are between, say, any nations that you have set up. And then when it comes to setting up said nations, we talk about the nature of your politics, your primary export, the type of government that it has, who's in charge. And you talk about, say, the capital and maybe one or two or however many you like notable cities in that country. And I have a world building template which has one sample country that I've put in that I'll put in the description. I'll put a link in the description. It's a Google Doc. Uh, and it will certainly help you keep track of who's what, of what country is what. Now, the country in particular that I have listed is one that was generally described to me as just being, the nation full of bad guys, the home of your big bad evil guy. And the big bad evil guy was in charge, and he's a vicious dictator, and blah 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 blah. Well, of course, the first question that comes to mind when I think of a country like that is, how is it still a country? How is Big Bad Evil Guy still in power? And why isn't there constant civil war? Or if there is, why hasn't why is the big evil bad guy a threat if he's dealing with, constant civil war? So I went through to talk about what made the country the kind of place that people would want to live. And what about the way this big bad evil guy runs the country makes people think that it's not a terrible place to be. So you think about what's good in the place full of bad things. And I think the primary example of this that I like to refer to when it comes to the place full of evil people, that actually is a fantastic place to live, is in the Forgotten Realms universe. And it's the capital of a country full of big bad evil guys. Um, the country in particular is Thay, and the city in particular is Eltabar, which is also referred to as the Jewel of the East. And it talks about the canals and how beautiful the city is, and the theater and the culture, and all of the wonderful things about the city of Eltabar. Notwithstanding that, it's run by red wizards and it's full of horrendous evil, but it's a place that people love to visit, and it's a place that people love to live. So it makes sense that the Zulkirs, the big powerful red wizards that rule Thay, are still in power, and they still live there, and the people aren't consistently trying to get them killed. So I feel like it's a great example of making your villain stronghold the kind of place that people might want to be. If your bad guy has, an army or is developing an army, why do people join him? Why do, um, how has he gotten to power and how has he kept it? Because uh, large quantities of people, especially if the city gets large, usually don't want to put up with a significant amount of, heavy-handed dictatorship unless there's a lot of reward involved. So you gotta think about what sort of reward is there? What's the draw for people? Because not all of your villains should be evil, and not all of all of your big bad evil guys, they're still people, and there have to be reasons for you to be able to empathize with them in some way. I can words. I don't have a script or anything, so I'm kind of just doing this off the cuff. Um, but there has to be a draw for your bad guy. And there has to be something that makes the bad guy a threat. So you can always have it to where the bad guy that you're alluding to pretty much the whole time isn't your real threat, but he's sort of like your red herring that the party's gonna chase, that your main characters are gonna chase, and so on and so forth. Um, until the real conflict arises. Like, for example, in Final Fantasy VII, it leads you to believe for a notable period of time that your big bad evil is the Shinra Company, and it turns out that it's actually Sephiroth. And then it kind of turns out that it's sort of not Sephiroth, but Geneva, and it gets kind of weird and convoluted, but, you kind of the Japanese in me, never got lost. And I'm not entirely sure if that's, just a pompous way of saying, I followed along while I played the game. Or if, that makes me a mutant in some way. But it's a long story as to, what makes the bad guy of Final Fantasy VII a bad guy. What makes the Shinra Company scary and also powerful. So we that I feel is one of the most important things to think about when you start building your world, when you start building a campaign, even if you're doing a world that you've already, a pre-set up world or something that's already established. Now, if you're building your own world, another thing you've got to consider is, your history, the kind of relationships between the countries. So you have your political climate and the things that led to how your culture is going to be in different places. Pardon me. And what caused these things to develop. Say if there's a particularly strong custom, or the people are terribly xenophobic, or they're horribly racist against one particular kind of creature, then, well, why? What's wrong with them? What has upset them to the point where they feel that they need to, eradicate that particular kind of creature? Or this particular behavior is illegal. Why are they afraid of magic, or why do they venerate it, and so on and so forth. I think in later videos I can see about going into specific details, but if there's anything in particular that you might want to see and you might want to hear about, then go ahead and put it in the comments below, and I will be happy to address those. Pardon me. And I will put up videos hopefully on the regular. Maybe I will do them on Fridays, because it is currently Friday, and, that might work out. I don't have any fancy editing software, and I don't even have a particularly good, camera or lighting or anything like that. It's just a, regular old desk lamp, and yeah, uh, you know, I'm the powerful YouTuber. Powerful. The most powerful. I might wind up wearing stupid hats, in videos. I might wind up showing you stupid things. And I guess I can start with one particular stupid thing. Come here, Cuddles. Now, once upon a time ago, when I was still really active in the SCA, I used to go to an event every year called Penzic, and basically somewhere in the nature of like 15 to 20,000 people from all over the world will gather and turn Slippery Rock Campground Cooper's Lake Campground in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, into a small city. And I made some amazing friends there, one of which, is a man named Jerry Hartung, and he used to do, I'm not sure if he still does, I actually haven't talked to him in a long time, and I feel a little guilty for that, because we used to be, actually pretty decent friends. Uh, he did chainmail, and he made some very nice, quite fantastical, but strangely practical chainmail. And he made me a present once, and almost entirely out of chainmail. I will introduce to you at least this part here, he made by hand, and it's aircraft aluminum links. And this is entirely made out of chainmail, with the exception of our ball. So this is what I commonly refer to as Cuddles. And I love Cuddles, and Cuddles has been good to me over the years. I don't necessarily want to go into how long ago this was given to me. It was I'm old. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago, but Cuddles has held up very well over the years, as you can see. And it's still kind of shiny. And you know what? This ball probably weighs like 2-3 pounds. I can definitely kill somebody with this, pretty easily. I suppose I can show you guys something stupid that I keep at my desk every day, or every video, and I will post again. And like I said, if you have any questions or something in particular you'd like me to address, then by all means place it in the comments. Tell me what you think below, because this is absolutely my first effort, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you, everybody.